I'm going to present to you an idea and an invitation today about innovation. And I think a lot of you see my profile. It says a lot of technology on there. And innovation sounds like technology, sounds like iPhone, sounds like Android, sounds like the gadget in your pocket. But I want to talk about innovation more broadly as positive change brought to a constrained system. It's probably not anybody else's definition, but whatever, I'll go with it. And to tell you that this is actually a broad concept, I'll tell you my favorite story from the Hindu scriptures that signifies innovation to me. It's a story of Narsingha. So there's a demon, a Rakshas named Hiranyakashipu, who wants to live for a long time. So he follows standard practice to do this in those days, and he prays to Brahma, performs complicated austerities, does a tapasya, and gets a boon. The boon says that he will die neither on land nor on air, neither inside a house nor outside a house, and be killed neither by God, man, beast, nor weapon. Years pass after this. He does good and bad things, I think mostly bad. But one day, he decides that he needs to kill his son because his son is a devotee of Vishnu. So he's right about to do the act, and Vishnu needs to protect his devotee. So he appears in Narsingha's court, in Hiranyakashipu's court as Narsingha, half man, half lion. They fight, and at twilight, neither day nor night, Narsingha takes Hiranyakashipu on his lap, neither on land nor on air, on the courtyard of his house, neither inside nor outside, and kills him with his fingernails, neither inanimate weapon nor living thing. I mean, what a way to bring change to a constrained system, yeah? So, I want to talk about innovation today, and particularly about how to bring in innovation, partially inspired by the many ways Vishnu takes together contradictions and places them together in this episode. I want to suggest that innovation is driven well when innovators are half on the inside and half on the outside. Now I need to explain myself a little bit. What do I mean? The question, the premise I'm starting with, is that there's a system. Education, let's say, politics in Nepal, medicine in Nepal, and that it has certain problems, like maybe education has too steep a price-quality trade-off, maybe medicine doesn't serve the right geographies, maybe politics just can't get anything done, and you need to change within sort of constraints of the system. What do you do? One school of thought says, well, you need to join the system and change it from within. You know, you want to change education, become a teacher, become a principal, become an educational policymaker. Another school of thought says, well, that doesn't really work. Once you join a system, you get corrupted by it. You become a part of the system and you can't change it. Think about how many of us here dare to join politics today, no matter how much we might believe that methods of today's politics need to change. So I want to suggest a third way of being that I think is quite effective. This way of being half inside, half outside. It's a suggestion. I think I learned that it's quite effective. It's a quite effective way of being for innovation when I was at UNICEF. When I was in Kosovo working with UNICEF there, I founded an innovations lab. It combines some of my passions of youth participation, social change, and technology. What we did was invite young people to create innovative projects for social change with us, with UNICEF. But I come from a technology background. I have a computer science degree. And despite knowledge of technology-based projects, international development, and aid context, I'd never been in one before. Coming from a small startup, an NGO where I was the first employee, and a research department in a university, I had no clue about bureaucracies like UNICEF. On the other hand, I became quite an insider when I got to UNICEF Kosovo as well. Kosovo itself was colored with the perspective of UNICEF colleagues for me. And because I was sort of the only one there with a technology background, I was given significant internal reins for this project. So here I am, a technologist by training, perspective, outlook, and working styles, and a UNICEFer by sort of motivation, team, authority. And you know, the innovations lab that I founded has been lauded by some senior colleagues as having lightning speed for the UN. On September 15th when I got there, we had a vague outline of what was happening, and April 15th when I left, we had a team of 5, an office, and 16 youth projects working with technology for social change. And I would never have been able to do this, I think, if I wasn't this half inside, half outside person. I think I leveraged very well my sort of training from technology and open source and open technology background, and the sort of engagement and the support of the UNICEF team that I got in Kosovo. It wasn't just me at the lab. Like I said, there were youth projects dealing with technology and innovation and trying to tackle social change. And then again, I saw half inside, half outside people sort of coming up with the most interesting and to me effective projects. There were blind students who worked with the Blind People Association to create audiobooks for themselves, university audiobooks for themselves. There was a group of students, engineering students, who talked to a municipality and decided to create 3D models of all the buildings in their municipality. Again and again, for me, it was young people who combine sort of their informal working styles and their can-do attitude with the resources and contextual experience of organizations. You know, there's also some research that suggests that innovation, particularly in bureaucracies, happens in this mode when people are half inside, half outside. In some ways, it's intuitive. Think about it. An insider has very, very good knowledge of systems, right? They know how things are done. They have very good knowledge of the context that they operate in. But maybe the daily treadmill is too much sometimes, or they don't have as much fresh perspective. Other effective ways of doing things, out-of-the-box thinking, is a little harder. Outsiders are great on the fresh perspectives and out-of-the-box thinking, but what they lack is that contextual knowledge of a system. And even if they do understand something very well, I think they have a sort of a drawback when it comes time to implementation. They don't know which right buttons they can push. They can't build the right team, can't leverage the right resources. So combining sort of the advantageous pieces from both sides can be very effective for an innovator. And this is the idea I want to leave you with. To try to leverage advantages from inside and outside if you want to make changes within constrained systems. Now you have to be careful not to sort of stick on a border and be neither inside and outside, I think, if you try to do this. You have to reach into both sides and really understand the context. Really, when you bring new ideas, bring them with strength, because they will, there is momentum to both sides. So that's the idea. The invitation is for all of you to, for all of us, to help ourselves think about how we can build inside-outside innovators in the Nepali context. I'm young, I don't have that many ideas. I think I have a few suggestions. I mean, I don't need to list out the many borders that we see in Nepali society, the sort of lack of understanding between Gaon and Sahar, or Mades and Pahad, or Sores and Vides. Even between people who are working in the NGO sector, the INGO sector, the government sector, and private sector, who often look at each other in contempt. I think there's a lot of room for reaching across borders, pulling somebody from another way of working, from another system, from another culture, pulling them into a team and trying to work together. When I demoed this talk with a few friends, they said that I should try to give a few suggestions about how to do this. I don't really have any, but I think a good starting point is just to grab somebody across a border, somebody you haven't talked to before, and talk to them in an open and respectful manner. Build a team that includes people from across different kinds of systemic, cultural, conceptual boundaries. And but imagine this team as the inside-outside entity. Be respectful and honest with each other, and try to get ideas from both sides. I'm working with a few friends on one initiative like this. It's called Nepalko Yuva, and we take outside and inside a bit literally. We're trying to create collaborative exchanges between Nepali youth all around the world. This means inside and outside of Nepal itself. We have so many Nepalis here, engaged with, aware of, the outside world, and so many Nepalis abroad, living, studying, working, whatever, again, engaged with and aware of the context here in Nepal. The question for us is how do we bring those kinds of different people in teams together to bring change. One project that we do is called Loreto. It's led by Nimish, who's helped organize this event. And it tries to redefine SLC as scholarship, leadership, citizenship in rural high schools in Nepal. It draws strongly from the idea of the liberal arts that many of us have gotten great exposure to outside of Nepal, but it's deeply ingrained in the Nepali context, totally modified for Nepal. We're doing another project called Walk for Nepal, which tries to build an entire day surrounded around a fundraising walk, where the idea is to bring different kinds of people doing interesting social work here in Nepal, mostly NGOs, have them fundraise through a walk, but also share experiences and kind of working modalities that exist here in Nepal, both the challenges and the advantages of working here. It's not that easy to do this work. Ours is hampered by fickle internet connections and different notions of when and how to reply to email. But we continue. We try to engage on both sides as deeply as we can, and try to create some innovative products out of sort of pieces that we pull from either side. If the sun and the moon, which barely see each other, can coexist on the Nepali flag, I think we Nepalis, from across systemic, cultural, and conceptual boundaries, can join together and innovate. Thank you.